Hey everyone, it's that time again. Wake up, West Coast. It's lunchtime. This is Leland, your host, coming to you from Corunna, Michigan, along the Shiawassee River today. And if you're not familiar with Wake Up West Coast, it's lunchtime, a little play on words here where we come out. It's 12 noon out here on the East Coast, and we're looking to feed the people out on the West Coast all the stuff that's happening in the world starting now. They're just getting out of bed. It's like 9 a.m. over there. So welcome to the broadcast if you're here today. I'm just going to balance a couple things out here before we get started. And I want to thank those who are in the chat right now. We've got Nazim, Beltran, and Rich Roberts over at getvocal.com, which is where we're broadcasting from today. So if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, I will be able to bring in your comments. Sorry, I had a little bug in my throat there for a second. The feeds are on, so what you can do is simply leave a comment, and what will happen is they will show up in the feed automatically, something like this as we commence. I'll know where you're coming from. If you're on Facebook on my profile or over at BCB Live, head over to @LelandBestLive, which is where you'll find this broadcast taking place as the post, and that's the only place I'm going to be able to pull the comments in. So if you try commenting on my profile or over at BCB Live, we're not going to see those, and I'm not going to follow those. I just can't do that right now, but we're going to go from there. So welcome again to the broadcast, everyone. Let me just clean things up a little bit here, get rid of that clock up in the corner. We'll put that somewhere where we don't have it in our face. I love it when things go like this. I just like to get things out of the way real quick before we get too far involved. Okay, I'm going to put it over here in the corner, right up here where we can see it. How's that? That'll work. All right, so if you're unfamiliar with what I do out here, and you may have seen season 1 and 2, we're actually into season 3. This is episode 3 of season 3, Wake Up West Coast. We are using the hashtag GetVocal out on Twitter as well. So if you'd like to leave a hashtag post out there, that's great. We'd love to see it. And I'm not sure what that was, but yeah, that was pretty well. Let's see what we got. So somebody's commenting already out there. You can see it happening now out at Get Vocal. We've got some other folks in there. We've got Jazilla Walter, crazy morning commute today. This is YouTube Workday, Boulder at Get Vocal. Now I'm picking up some of the Get Vocal feeds as well, and I'm probably that's what's coming through Twitter on that hashtag. So you can kind of see there's a lot of action going on out here at Get Vocal, and those will come out randomly. We've got images coming up from some of the other people that are out there broadcasting. So I'm going to turn off the automatic feed, and I will watch these manually from Facebook and Twitter so that you guys can see what's going on. I'm just going to bring up my views over here, but I've got a lot of stuff to cover. Sorry about that overlay. It's there. We're just going to get rid of it. These things happen in social broadcasting because when things are automated, sometimes they don't do the things that you expect them to do. So we also have Michael in the house. What's up, homeboy? Yeah, I love the picture, dude. I'm not sure where that came from. Probably Michael Lucy, obviously. So I will open up the seats later on in this broadcast to discuss what we're going to talk about today. And if you saw my video on my profile this morning, you may have seen I was a little emotional. I came out earlier today to do a broadcast from the river on my phone. And it may have garbled up a little bit because I don't get the best Wi-Fi service at the river, but that's because my router's inside 2 walls to get out there. We had a situation. If you guys aren't familiar, and I'm going to share a couple things with you guys so you can understand entirely what's going on. I'm not going to be watching the entire feed the whole time, but I will be watching the chat here on Get Vocal as well. So I'm going to take you over to my desktop for a minute, and then I'm going to shrink down in the corner. So I'm going to go down here. I'll be hanging out down here for a minute. I want to share some stuff with you. That happens to be my audio software. This is Virtual DJ 8. It's free for anybody that wants to check that software out. And this is another one I just recently picked up. This is an application that allows you to put your cell phone and everything that's on it broadcast out. And you may have seen other similar ones to this, but this is called Mirroring 360. And it's actually a free app right now on the Google Play Store and the iPhone store. But the app itself, if you want to purchase it, it's like $15 or $11 right now to get the app to work on your PC. So I'm going to take you for a little walk on my cell phone for a minute because there's some things that have taken place. And if you're familiar with what I do out on Facebook, this is my profile on Facebook, obviously. Let me make that a little bit bigger. I think I can. That should work a little bit better. I'm going to take you over to one of the groups that I'm involved in currently. This is Amy Carrier's Classroom. If you know me, you know I'm a mentor, video live streaming mentor over at Amy Carey's Classroom, where we educate and promote entrepreneurship, business building, and such across the entire globe. That picture there that you see, which I probably can zoom in on a little bit. Let me see if I can do this. I'm going to actually view the photo, and I'm going to bring that up on screen just a little bit. I wanted you guys to see there's 15 of them. Sorry about that. There's 15 of us here. I'm going to switch the phone around. This should flip. There we go. Isn't that cool? Flips the thing around and everything for me. So this is Amy Carey's Classroom. As you can see, I'm over here in Michigan. I'm this little guy right here in the corner, but I'm not actually on Michigan. It's close enough. It's pointing to Michigan anyway. Amy Carey is the founder of this group. And as you can see, we have mentors around the globe. About 15 now total. They're not even all listed on here. We have people, 4 of them here in the U.S. We've got someone in Brazil. We've got Jan and Arthi over there in South Africa. We've got Albert Nashton out in Nigeria, I believe. Yes. And PJ Entrepreneur, Davida Ginter, Mohammed Kasim, Lisette, and Ambreen, and Alex Burton. Sadly, we had to remove a mentor from this picture. Hassan Arshad, who's in Pakistan, by the way. You can't see on here because he was in there. We have Mohammed Kasim now, but he's in India. And we had our Hassan in Pakistan. Sadly to say, he passed away yesterday. Not a very old man. He's a little older than I am, and I considered him somewhat of a mentor for the fact that he's a brilliant man. He's well-versed in startup. He's also been an entrepreneur for decades, and he contracted one of the most serious blood cancers known to man. They tried to use chemotherapy on him, and it actually made things much worse. So all of us over at Amy Carey's Classroom are somewhat grieving. So I apologize if some emotions show during this broadcast. I'm going to do everything I can to hold myself together. But Hassan and I became very close, and I want to explain why and how that happened. So I'm going to take you over actually to a private conversation that we had. It wasn't that private, but I want to close out here and get over to, I'm going to close Facebook, and I'm going to bring up an IM. So just give me a second. This won't take long at all. And there's Hassan at the top. Now, we met back in, I think it was November of 2017. And it was thanks to the fact that I became good friends with some folks over in Pakistan. What's that here? Wow, this 6. All right. Thanks, Nazim. Thanks to all of you out there who are giving their condolences here at Get Vocal. I appreciate it. I'm sure there's several out there who are doing the same out on Facebook. So we've got, oh, look, we've got a few in here. We've got Anthony Davis. So I'm just letting people know who's watching the show out here, at least people who are out here promoting Get Vocal. I appreciate everything you guys are doing out here at Get Vocal. So, all right, let's get rid of that. Okay, so where were we? On this page, you'll see that we had several discussions. We've been on Zoom a lot. So I met him in November of 2017. And we waved. That was the first connection that we had. I know that's kind of silly, but that's actually a good way to open a conversation. But we got on Zoom a lot. We used to hang out and talk. And then there was, when we got involved in our spirituality, I'm Jewish, he's Muslim. I'm not one of those who are a by the book religious Jew, but I'm very spiritual. I used to be a Christian, and I took a long 5-year walk through religion and history and basically language, Hebrew, Greek, all kinds of stuff. And I could elaborate on that, but this isn't going to be about religion today so much. But I am dedicating this portion of the broadcast to Hassan, and then we're going to cover what I came here to cover in just like 5 minutes. So one thing we noticed is I had an article, and I'm just going to share a little bit of this article with you really quick. It was written by a rabbi, and it was on Judaism and Islam. And the year you see there is actually a Jewish year, 5779. But I want to share just something in this post that was really important to me. And it's kind of interesting when you think about it. There are some hints about Sarah and Hagar. And if you're familiar at all with the Christian and Hebrew Bible, Abraham married Sarah, and Hagar was one of his concubines. Hagar got pregnant. Sarah was upset that he was showing too much affection to Hagar. Hagar was sent away because her son Ishmael was somewhat, he'd like to cause some strife in the family. And Sarah said, that's enough. Enough is enough. You need to send her away. Well, in some of the texts, we're discovering that the patriarchal family, which Beersheba is where the patriarchs hung out at that period. Abraham returns after the binding of Isaac. You hear about him offering up his son Isaac, and then a goat comes out of the, briars, and he sacrifices the goat instead of his son, yada, yada, yada. I'm just kind of paraphrasing here. I want to move ahead. But there's an extraordinary stage in that part of his life where, Sarah pretended to be Abram's sister in a couple of occasions to save their butt, because there were kings that were just totally infatuated with Sarah and thought that maybe Sarah was his wife, but they played it out to be that it was his sister so that they wouldn't have issues over who was going to get Sarah next. So they respected Abram for the fact that, oh, okay, this is your sister. We'll just leave it at that. Well, there's something in the Torah that was really obviously kind of a point of contention with some, but there's a possibility that after Sarah died, which they were in their 90s supposedly when they died. Now, again, let's look at this as allegory. I'm not looking at this as historical fact. I'm just taking it as it is with the grain of salt that it has. But there's a good possibility that Hagar may have returned to Abraham after Sarah died. And we could get into all that. I'll maybe leave a link to this so people can read this. Because Sarah demanded, very grievous in Abram's sight, in the account of his son, told Abram to listen to his wife, is what God said. It says, hey, she wants her to go. So, in the end, what that says, really, is this. There's a very good likelihood that Ishmael was raised by Abram and Hagar after Sarah's death. What does that tell us? Well, in the Bible, it tells us Ishmael was to be another nation, which was to become Islam, and Abraham and his sons, like Isaac and all those, were to become Christianity, Judaism, and then supposedly Christianity. A lot of in-depth stuff we don't need to get into. Joseph, nice to see you here. So in that regard, what we've discovered, Hassan and I used to have conversations about this, and I just want to go back and get back to that messenger post. So this was a post we shared. Being Muslim and Jew, we realized that we were nearly on the same page. And you can see here, definitely, we have more in common than we might think, is what he says in this broadcast. And we went through this. We talked about Sarah and Hagar. We were always having rather in-depth conversations about our spirituality. And it wasn't in our religion. Now, Hassan was very much more religious than I. He was a staunch supporter of Islam. And if you saw this man in action, he was the true type of soul that is the heart and body of Islam. So from that, he started to get sick. And it was around November of last year that it was getting to the point where he announced to us, look, I'm in the hospital. Things are not looking good. It's likely I'm going to be terminal. And I was to connect with him after he got out of the hospital. And you can see here, I will ping you right after. I'm going into another meeting. I will ping you right after. Send an invite. And this was before his condition was announced. And then he says, I told him, I wanted you to know I just caught word today of your current condition. Strength and love to you as you begin your healing journey. He said, thanks, Leland. Still facing a lot of issues we'll discuss when you're up for it. And we were to get together on this. And then I sent him a text. Let's see. In June, I found out what was actually going on, and that, he was terminal. He was going to have to go home and just live out the remains of his life. There was nothing they could do for him after the chemo. So he said, thanks a lot, Leland. I'll get in touch once I'm out of the hospital. Well, I texted him Friday. He had passed yesterday, so I never got a return message, and I left a prayer for him that I'd like to read, if you don't mind. I said to him after the fact, I've just been informed of your passing today, brother. May all the angels of Hashem smile upon you. Hashem being the name which is used for the term God. God, filled with mercy, dwelling in the heavens' heights, bring proper rest beneath the wings of your Shekinah, amid the ranks of the holy and pure, illuminating like the brilliance of the skies, the souls of our beloved and our blameless, who went to their eternal place of rest. May you, who are the source of mercy, shelter them beneath your wings eternally, and bind their souls among the living, that they may rest in peace. And let us say, amen. That's a typical Jewish Siddur prayer, or not Siddur prayer. It's a Kiddush prayer, which is prayed over the dead. Something that we do It's just the way it goes. I was saddened by the news, and my broadcast this morning probably showed it even a little bit here as I jitter at my voice and try to talk about it. And the purpose of my broadcast is this. It's time to stop dwelling on the nonsense. Life is way too short, people. It just seriously is. I'm over the fact, and let me get rid of that other window. I'm over the fact that all I see every time I go out on social media, any time of the day, doesn't matter when it is, I see hate, and I see disgusting examples of it every day. Let's just head over to my Facebook page real quick. And I'm going to just do this for a few, and then we're going to open up the seats so people can come in and talk about this, because I think it's an important topic to discuss. It's something that not a lot of people like to talk about. They would just rather bitch about every day. So let's see. If I go down my feed, I've got some people that I follow, that I love to follow because they're so positive. They're so informative. They're so on point with being able to change their attitudes when they're proven wrong, or they're shown another way, or they realize that they've been thinking the wrong way all their lives. But I can also go down this entire feed. Well, at least we're broadcasting live, and we have William out there. How you doing, guys? Lisette, if you want to stick with us on this broadcast, you're on Leland Best Live. Let's see what we got. Let me view my queue here. I will be happy to bring your comments into the broadcast. They should be working. It looks like for some reason you guys are picking it up somewhere else. So head over there if you guys want to check it out. But I could go through here, and here's Mike Lucy, who's in the room here today. He's promoting what he's doing. He's excited about where he's going, so he's letting people know about it. Ryan Perez is on a diet binge, similar to the keto thing we're doing, but he's a vegan, and he's all about sharing his advice, sharing his experience out there on social media. And we've got Elizabeth Ann Hamilton, a wonderful book producer, writer, content creator who's out there helping book writers, and she's built $1 million brands out there in social media. One thing about Elizabeth that I really love is she gets out there and gets noisy. She makes a wave with people so that people talk, so they discuss the hard to talk about issues. All right. It comes down to the things that she has a heart for, and she's always out there. So she comes off rough and brass to some. I can handle it, but some probably can't. John, of course, Preto, a good friend of mine from Vegas, just lost his daughter a couple of weeks ago to a homicide in Las Vegas. Sad story that's going on, but they had success. And I haven't even read this story. So, John, congratulations on all your success in these court battles that you're dealing with this monster who took your daughter's life. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. I can go to PJ, entrepreneur over in China, another friend of mine who I'm close with in Amy Carey's classroom. He's actually one of our supporters out there. So we have this ability to work with him on a regular basis to know what's going on in Southeast Asia as well as Pakistan and India. He's always sharing innovative entrepreneurial insight. He's always telling us what you should do to make things a success rather than what you shouldn't do, okay? Other than that, just keep on scrolling and see what happens. I've got friends. I've got 2 gay daughters who are always out here broadcasting stuff. And again, I can kind of give you a rundown. When it comes to me and social media, I'm not even seeing your posts. I'm sorry. You can go check them out if you're on a computer right now. Go see my page. Go look at my profile. Go see who's posting on my wall and what I post on my wall. So I apologize. I thought I had my screen share up there. Let me bring my screen share back again for a second. So just to fulfill what I was talking about, these are the people I'm mentioning. Here's John Preto talking about his daughter. Here's Elizabeth posting about David Bowie. She's a David Bowie freak. Here's Ryan doing his food blogging out here on social. Here's Michael Lucy promoting his business successes. And of course, me doing my live broadcast. So as we continue to scroll through my feed, now I make sure I filter my friends. I don't just take every willy-nilly social media follow and friend request that I get. This is what I was talking about. My 2 gay daughters are always professing their love for each other out there. They're married. My daughter was actually one of my daughters here. The other is my stepdaughter. My daughter, or I should say daughter-in-law. My daughter was married to a gentleman and had 4 kids and then married her. And now they're happy. They were never happy. She was never happy with a man. Now she's totally happy and just in unbelievable love. Brad Solos. I'm probably going to blister his last name. Another individual who runs Awaken Nation podcast. He covers a lot of the conspiracy theory stuff, but not the stuff that's not correct. He talks about the conspiracies that are taking place in this government right now. If you look up Pizzagate, you'll find out about all that stuff with Weiner and his, or whoever it was, that had the laptop full of emails that supposedly shown there was all this pedophile stuff going on in the left, on the Democratic Party. And if you go to Snopes, they debunk it. But I'll tell you what, he's got a show coming up in the next day or so. I can't say exactly sure. You go check out Brad's page, and I'll probably leave a link for him as well. I just watched a video last night of a judge who used to be a CIA special agent talking about what's going on in the child trafficking thing that's all around the world. I thought I knew something. I was in total shock when I watched the congressional hearings that are starting to come together over this entire process. And honestly, thanks to Donald Trump's involvement in pushing this to the forefront. Let's keep going. We got Paula Gardner talking about sharing posts from other places. I've got the Michigan Honey Festival that's showing some really cool stuff on bees. I just keep going on and on and on. And then there's every now and then I come across all this hate, all this garbage, all this nonsense, all this stuff that doesn't help anyone to do anything. Why? Why are we sharing this stuff out on social media? Why are we trying to hate on each other? Why are we trying to say, your opinion doesn't matter, my opinion's the only one that matters, and I don't want to listen to what you have to say because I'm right? That's just wrong. That's so wrong. And that's what I want to talk about today. So I'm going to open up the seats. I want people to come on in here if you'd like. I like the Foursquare when it comes to that type of stuff. So the seats are open, folks. If you've got an urge to come on here and grab a camera, please do. I'd love to talk about this with you. Or if you just want to leave your comments out there on social media, then we'll go from there. So let me just see what's going on out there. And I'm going to keep going through my feed here if I have to, if nobody wants to jump in and talk about this. So, Casa Chiesi, yes, I am not. If you're not, I'm not coming over. All right, Nazim, I'm going to go do that right now. Let me go back. I'm going to satisfy Nazim. So let me get back on screen. I'm going to head back over to my social feed. I know I'm following you, dude. So let's go back to Facebook. I'm going to stay off camera for a minute while I go look for Casa Chiesi. If you're not familiar with Nazim and his Italian blog out there, it's food and adventure and lifestyle blog. Him and his wife are doing a wonderful job out there at Casa Chiesi. There it is. So I better be following you. Yep, I'm liked. See, so don't give me a hard time there, buddy. For some reason, maybe it's not showing. Let's do this. So I am following you. Default. Oh, I gotta make it see first. See, there's the problem. And I think that's the problem that a lot of people have. You may follow someone on Facebook and not realize that you're not seeing them first. What's up? How are you, Robert?
Hey, Leland.
Mr. Roberts, I should say.
No problem. Thank you. And I'm very sorry, and thank you for sharing about your friend. It's being a cancer. Yeah, Hassan. Cancer is it's just some bad, nasty stuff. I'm a cancer survivor. Not once, twice. I had prostate and just had a little bout of skin cancer, but with the technology. But when I hear stories of a friend, I'm just like, wow. It just blows me away that we're so close. And then also Sharon, I didn't know about John Preto's daughter. I'm like, oh my God, it just blows me away. And but you're right. We have a lot of hate on this thing called the internet, and I don't know. That's why I guess I've stayed away from Facebook because I see a lot of garbage on there that you just showed, and not to say other platforms are exempt from it. They do have their share of it, but. We all have our filters, and I guess that's what I try doing as far as execute the filters. And like you say, associate with positive people. You have a discussion. You may agree that you disagree, but you have a rational discussion. And because, when it's all said and done, I think we have as a whole, we agree. If we just stop and take a breath, we have more to agree on then we have to disagree.
So do you ever find yourself, I'll just ask the question, do you ever find yourself getting in a battle of wits with someone in a Facebook post or in a Twitter feed, or do you just literally step back and say, no, I'm not going to get
I think for the most part, I think the people I associate with, Twitter is way better, Nazim said. And maybe that's why I like Twitter, because you can filter it a little bit better. you got more problems with bots and stuff like that. But I try not to get into too deep of discussions because I'm prior military. So, and one of the two of the things you never talk about or get too heavy discussion is religion and politics, because it's always going to go down the road of an argument, so to speak. So.
And that's why when I did the initial start of this broadcast, the reason I brought up religion was for a simple fact that is in existence here today. And I hope you guys can hear my mic's a little bit back from me, but this is the case that I've seen too much of. Each religion thinks it's right. Each religion thinks it's the only way. And each of those religions is in some sense or another so broken within its own structure. You look at, there's 30,000 Christian denominations. There's about 300 Jewish denominations. There's several iterations of Islam and Buddhism and Hinduism and Zoroastrianism. It's literally to the point where people cannot talk about religion because they're not willing to look at why people believe the way they do. Simple as that. They don't want to address the fact that they have a right to think the way they want to think. Whether one religion is true or not doesn't really matter, because I think we all know deep down inside religion is more of an allegory and a metaphor that was put together by mankind's revelation of what he thinks God's all about. Now, some people say God spoke a word, put it in stone, put it on paper, all that stuff. And I give them the right to feel that way. They can believe that way if they want to. That's fine. I'm not going to contest that. That's just not the way I believe. So I'm not going to argue with them over it. No. But if I can show somebody something that is pure factual evidence on a issue or a topic, whether it's religion or what, politics, doesn't matter. We got into a big thing yesterday about the 20th was the 50th anniversary of the lunar landing back in '69. Yep. Of course, the conspiracy theorists jumped all over it. They just did. Okay? Yeah. So if you probably saw that on your feeds, I got involved in it. I had to. I felt like, okay, enough is enough. You guys, this is 50 years now, and you guys are trying to say this was faked. Are you nuts? And I just had to go out and say it. So. Yeah.
Well, they have their view and stuff like that, because I work with a few that that don't believe it, and it's one of those things. But on your note about religion, I guess I was raised Catholic, not a practicing Catholic. Mm-hmm. I do believe in a higher being of some sort.
Absolutely.
But I look at all religions. There's probably some truth to a certain degree. That again, if you look at them, the basic structure of them, they're all pretty much similar in a sense. But you look at an orchestra. Boston Pops, all different instruments. Each instrument represents a different religion. They're all singing or playing the same tune when they're all together, in a sense. Even though it's different melodies and stuff like that. So that's my take on a religion. Is just like you're never gonna convince somebody, and and that's why it's. I guess you keep it on a discussion, but when you get into that argument, that's when I got to back away, and we'll take a timeout, maybe come back. It's not productive, I guess.
Well, you're right. I think once you realize that you're beating your head against a brick wall, because honestly, you shouldn't be trying to change the other person's opinion. What you should be doing is discussing. I feel that this is
something that will open your eyes. Open your eyes in a sense. Even if you don't agree with it all. Well, okay, let me check that out. Just as a point of interest. But I think some people are so adamant they got to be. I got to be correct. I got to be right and stuff like that. It's like, okay, I'll see you later.
And that leads to narcissistic tendencies in a lot of people. When you see those out there who cannot admit they're wrong or have to feel that everything they say is what everyone else should believe, then you've got issues. And I'd stay away from those people. In my rant today, Richard, and maybe you can feel me on this one, okay? I know there's a lot of people out there who follow me or who are involved in social media and marketing and things who follow Gary Vee to a T, okay? And I brought this out. He's got that side hustle thing going on. Everybody's got a hustle, rush. Well, Nazim and I and Ani Alexander did a broadcast a couple years back called the Anti-Hustle Hustle. And the reason we did that was because we spent those days. We did those 20-hour days and slept for 4 or didn't sleep for days. Michael, I'm talking to you. He'd go for days on end without sleeping just to get what he needs to get done. And I understand the principle behind it. I've done it. I've been there. It almost wiped me out. And what I hear Gary doing a lot, and I just watched a video of his, because I do like to follow up on how he teaches, so that if I have people come to me and goes, oh, I saw Gary V doing this and this and this, I'll say, well, yeah, but what he did the other day kind of got me, and it opened up a light went off. He was on stage, and all he had to say was effing this, effing that, go F yourself, go F these people. And all those people that are complaining, they can F off. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You're up on stage cussing and screaming and yelling about people who are complainers, but what are you doing? You're complaining about complainers. How is that any different, you hypocrite? I'm sorry, but that is very hypocritical. And that's a lot of the issue we see also on social media, is the hypocritical aspect of what people try to say about the way they think.
Yeah, that's his brand. The one comment is, and I would have to agree with that. That's his hype. That's his stick. That's what gets him all the views and stuff like that. It is.
Yeah, and I get it. If you got to play on, with certain emotions.
Nazim, he must be Italian.
Yeah, it is the brand. I mean, but is it something that's really beneficial to everyone else? How is that making other people react? How is that they're getting all pumped up, and then if somebody says, oh, you guys, why are you following? Oh, you're just an asshole because you don't understand what Gary V's all about. It's like, no, I understand what he's about. I just don't like him, and I don't like what he's about. So, and I have a right to feel that way. But you don't have to hate me for it. You don't have to say, dude, you know what? Why are you like that? Why are you that kind of person? Michael, great to have you here today, dude. I'm going to let you chime in.
Hello, Rich. How are you?
Dude. What you got for us, dude? Bring it up.
I was going to contribute this. Is all of those big players in that space, they're salespeople first. That's what they are. So they play to their brand, they build their brand, they play to their brand, and number one, they're salespeople first and they're marketers second. I've learned that the hard way over time. So, Gary's just playing to his brand.
Yeah, he is. But his brand started as a simple wine salesman. I mean, he ramped it up extremely when he started to have this huge following of millennials and guys like us in Gen X who were just gung-ho to find success somewhere on the internet. And he led a lot of people to success. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's not good for some people.
Yeah.
And it's really a matter of personalities. Can you connect with him on his personal level?
I've followed the likes of, I come up, there's four names that I kind of always refer to. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of them. There's Kim Garst down in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
You know her?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so there's Kim Garst, Jeff Bullis, Neil Patel, and now Gary V. I put them up there in that conversation. Mm-hmm. Those four are salespeople first. That's it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They're no better a marketer than anyone on this screen right now.
And it's good that
I'm not a marketer.
You're right. I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people don't realize that it doesn't really come down to anything but sales in business. If you're not making sales, you're not in a business. You have to have those sales to keep your business alive. And, I run into snags. I deal with times where there are no sales, no service, and you got to make up for that some way. So.
Nazim said Grant Cardone. Yes, Grant Cardone, and then the retail lady. Who's the retail lady again? The blonde-haired lady from San Diego that's always, look how beautiful the mountains are. You know who I'm talking about? Mary C. Smith. Mari.
Oh, yeah, Mari Smith. Yeah.
And
she's something else.
The thing about Mari was, like, when live streaming came out, there was all these people that were technically very good. There was Leland. There's people you learn in the space that know their stuff. And I'm not going to go through any names. But I remember Mari C. Smith, 3 months later, pulled out her phone and she said, look at this wonderful feature. You can go live and promote your business. I'm like, and she had this humongous following. I'm like, there are so many more skilled and talented people to talk about this. But why do people respond to Mari C. Smith and not other people? That's a question I've always.
Yeah.
Well, I think I've found in her case, and if somebody's got a bunch of stuff going on in the back, please mute your mic if you've got all the background noise. What I see a lot of is the fact that if you're out there enough in the public eye and you are just being an honest, forthright individual who is showing people how it worked for you, and how it was something easy to learn, or if you couldn't learn it easy, what you did to learn it, then you're going to build an extreme following very quickly. But if you're out there, like sometimes I get brass, sometimes I get stupid, sometimes I say the wrong stuff, and you see it in the effect it has on your social streams when you do that. If you're always on top of things. Mari's always on top of things. She knows Facebook inside and out because she connects directly with the Facebook teams. I'm not that tight with all the Facebook people, but I know some of the guys in the live streaming end, so I communicate with them back and forth. Mike, I'm sure you're the same way. You know all the guys in the ad end of things on Facebook, or at least
it's deeper than that. I believe it's a lot deeper than that. I'll throw another name out there. The Tribe Guy. The Tribe Guy. Grow your tribe. I can't remember his name. You know,
there's a bunch of them though, and a lot of people latch on to the same ideas and expand on them. I've seen that as well. You know, you've got people like The Secret, you know, and Bob Proctor and all the folks along those lines who have an enormous following, but then there's a whole nother social avenue that says that's all garbage. What are you listening to that stuff for? It doesn't work. It's not the way it should be. It's like positive thinking. It's good to have positive thinking, but for God's sake, we're emotional beings. We do get distressed. We do get upset. We do get angry. These are things we have to accept. But do we need to broadcast all that out to everyone all the time as social stuff? Probably not. It's not good for business. It just doesn't work.
I'm having a brain fart. I can't remember the guy's name, but he's always yapping on. He's one of the first live video people, and he's always talking about how to grow your tribe. The only thing he's doing is growing his own tribe. That's it.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Dino Dugan?
Tim Gillette. Is it
the
Dino
Dugan?
No, it's some guy from New York, and you know I should know his name because he's so popular.
Because Dino Dugan founded Triber, the Triber.com, and I know Dino.
Oh,
I've known Dino
yeah,
for 10 years.
Yeah.
But he doesn't own it anymore. He sold it.
That's what I thought.
I'm gonna get the name because it's gonna kill me.
No.
So Tom Petty, how you been, man? It's been a long stinking time since I've seen you on camera.
I know. I do a lot of stuff, but most of the stuff I'm doing is for my clients now. I do very little outside marketing with live streaming because it's like, you want my information, pay for it.
Oh yeah, I hear you.
Exactly what Michael's complaining about. You want my information? I'm going to make you pay for it now.
That's kind of where Mike and I are going. We're going to be broadcasting some stuff here coming up in the next couple of weeks where we're going to show people outside the status quo of how we do things. And that's where I'm trying to upset the status quo a little bit. And I'll come out here for free. But if you want some of my stuff, if you want my secrets, or if you want me to do, if you want to call me and say, can you fix my camera? Yeah, one time I'll be happy to do that. But if you call me 5 more times, you best be paying me for that because I'm not going to do it for free anymore.
I don't work because I work everything. If you're not doing you don't have a content strategy. That's all about what I do. And if you don't have a content strategy, I'm not interested. And I have my hairdresser. She actually said to me, "Hey, can you work with me little by little, one-on-one?" I'm like, if you don't have a 1-year commitment with me, I don't work with you.
Oh, I got you.
I make at my conference, you sign an agreement that says you're in this program for 1 year, and if you leave, you still have to pay for it. And I do that purposely because if you're not willing to commit, if you think you're going to do one broadcast and become successful, it ain't happening, guys. You need a strategy.
Could do. I agree. Nazim
It's just
Beltran.
like any other content, isn't it? Like there's so many people that think they can be one-hit wonders. It takes dedication. It takes time.
It took me 7 years to become an overnight success, damn it.
That's
so
true. I
many
hear
people
that.
think that, it's a magic bullet. It don't work like that.
No.
Nazim,
Nazim,
my Italy buddy.
he's always laying in bed half naked when he comes on my broadcast for some reason. I can't hear you, Nazim. Your audios or you're covering something up there. Let me see what's going on. He's still there. He's just thumbing up. There you are. You were. It's your phone, your connection, I think. We can't hear your audio, dude. It's not coming in. Pop in again if you can. Maybe he's got another connection. He's on his way to bed, so it's just one of those things. Him and I are constantly in conversation on a daily basis, so we see each other a lot, talking business, shop, social media, you know. So continue, Tim, Mike. We're at a point now to become a success. It takes 7 or 8 years. What's the best advice?
It does. I mean, there's conferences that I attend because I speak at conferences. And I hate these ones that I see people who are, now doing live stream or they're doing live stream conferences or webinars. And they're telling people, oh, yeah, this is easy. This is, and again, my marketing strategy is simple, easy now. Simple, easy marketing and simple, easy branding that we're trademarking. And it's not a simple, quick process. It takes time. All right. There are things that you can do to make you stand out real quick But don't think that just because you stand out real quick, you're going to have a 6-figure thing in your bank account. It don't work that way.
Agree. And look at Joe Rogan. I mean, even though he was doing Fear Factor, the WW, or what it was, the what's the name of the one that he does for the cage match fighting? But either way, now he's got a podcast that's just booming. I mean, over the past few years, that guy has become a total celebrity, and yet he wasn't that 10 years ago. But he was well known. He just wasn't the type of guy he is now, and he's living a whole new life. Mike Lucy, you went through some struggles. I went through some struggles. I still struggle now. I'm still trying to build my model that works for me. I have a lot of irons in the fire, but not all of them are taking root where it should be. So
another important thing is I think you need to be diverse. You can't be a one-trick pony. Like, you can't attack live streaming and say, I'm going to kill it. Because I think it's been proven you can't be that one-trick pony. You need a blog to support the live streaming. You need a podcast to support that. You need a little bit of SEO, some social. You need a little bit of everything. And if you think you're going to roll into this game and do one channel and one channel only and make it killing, unless your name's Ty Lopez,
and you have a lot of money for ads. Yeah, you got to spend a lot of money on ads.
I have 3 blogs that I constantly write for now. I've had up to 20 at one point. I have six things that are sitting on hold. Like, in other words, I love the concept. I got the idea. I've got everything to go around it. So if I ever decide to implement it, I own it already. I've done that. I mean, that's what I do. But, like, you know, everything revolves around, you know what I mean, a system, a plan. I've got it. My whole plan is laid out now to where everything I do, you know what I mean, follows a certain thing. I speak somewhere, I do a live stream, I do a webinar. It has one purpose. So
that's good. And I've seen you've got a bloggers group. What's the name of your bloggers group, Tim? Is that still open to the public, or is that something that was?
I have a bloggers Facebook group called 1,000, like 1,000 contact or 1,000 followers, 1,000. Yeah, 1,000 bloggers, like 1,000 followers.
There it is. Okay.
Yeah,
and I'm a member of that.
My end goal of what I want to do in my business. All right. And my company name is Tim Gillette Media. So I'm never planning on selling this thing. It's because it fits my personal life mission. Is I want to create 10,000 content creators with a following of 10,000 each, making $10,000 a month. That's a huge goal. All right. It's not going to be done all in my lifetime. You know what I mean?
And Mike,
you set that out. That's what you want to do. And then, you know what I mean? It directs everything you do. And that group is part of it.
Cool. And Mike's a guest blogger on my website over at bcblive.com, just recent. And I'm looking at doing the same for others. So Mike, give us a little advice on that whole process of knowing your niche and knowing where to find places that you can just get involved with others in your niche to help move your brand along.
Reach out to like-minded people. I mean, there's a couple of tricks to the trade that probably aren't appropriate to share on the screen here because it's valuable. But you know,
no, I didn't mean that.
Hey, I have an article. There's some overlap. Can I write on your site? And you say, great. And then I said, well, awesome. I have 2 other sites for you. And you know, behind the scenes, the search engine. You know, my motivation is the search engines. How do I get more traffic? How do I get more business? Mm-hmm. And I equate all of that to I call it the high school homecoming king and queen or high school quarterback. Everyone wants to be popular. So the more popular a website is that refers to you or cites you, the more popular you become by association. And that's a very hard concept for some people to absorb. I don't know how or why. For me, it's simple. Like if Forbes or Fortune says, hey, Mike Lucy or Leland Best or Tim Gillette said this, guess what?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, and it's true. It's like, you know, you've got to, that's the Jim Rohn thing. You know what I mean? You got to associate the 5 people you associate with are going to influence where you're going to be in 5 years. I looked at that as I literally 2 years ago now, 2 years, I think it's been almost 2 years now. I went into hiring a coach that was $25,000 a year. All right. I now officially pay more for coaching than I made my first year in business between him and other people I work with. And that's going, and I sat down with him this week or this month, and we were out in his country club in Los Angeles, and he's telling me these things about, once you get to a certain level, now you got to up your game. You keep hanging around with the drinking buddies you had from high school, you're going to go backward.
It's true. And I think a key point came up about collaboration and the people you hang around with. And I wrote a book in September of 2017 called Best Guide to Live Stream Video Broadcasting. It was a 100 and some page book. It had everything everyone would ever want about it. Did I sell it? Yeah, maybe 25 copies of it. And it's because I didn't promote it the way I probably should have, but I expected it to just take off because it was everything I thought everyone wanted. And then I realized I didn't do my market research. I didn't go out there and say, hey, would you guys buy this book if I actually wrote it first? And that was my failure. But then I collabed with Raven, the talk show Maven, on a book that we put together called Conversations Behind the Mic, where 40 of us, 40 podcasters got together and developed a brand under her name. But it was because she was putting together the team to compile the book. Went #1 on Amazon the first day we put it out. Because it was done proper. It was done right. So I can call myself a #1 best-selling author only based on that book because I have content within that book. And it was all based on...
And I'm in his new one, too.
Exactly. So that's what it comes down to, is working with others. Yeah. So that's Rock Your Life.
Of that.
Can you hold that up again? I didn't catch the title on it, Tim.
This one here, I don't know if it's available. It's called Rock Your Life. I'm in it. He actually has a new one coming out. He is now... because I actually have another one over there that I'm not going to show you on camera that I co-wrote a chapter in it last year. And I will not, because of issues I have with other people, this is the only guy I will be in his books from now on. I got you. Every time I write for him, he makes the process easy for me. All right. He takes my story and highlights it. And I just wrote one for his new book. But my only book that I ever wrote myself or ever published, I've written 3 of them that are only on ebooks, but this one here was done as a written book, and this is my preview copy. It's the only copy I have left. I don't have any more. All right, it's out of print.
That one here.
All right, I sold 10,000 of them, and that's it. So, but then most people go, all right, I actually found books in my niche, and found people who are getting rid of them. If you get in my program, you can get a copy of this book. See if I can get it on the camera. How do we go on Blogging Experts? This kid is now almost 20 years old in college.
Yeah.
All right. He decided a few years ago because of this picture, he didn't want to sell the book anymore. So what he did is he basically said, I'm selling out. I bought every copy he had left in his inventory. And now I give them as gifts to all of my clients. So you buy a ticket to my event, you get a copy of this book. People come up all the time. Can I buy just the book? Nope. Want the book? You got to go.
I agree. I agree. And it's a great promotional tool too, just as you noticed. And that's like me. I can give that Conversations Behind the Book away because I'm not making money off it. But I have the PDF if anybody wants to read it. And I have my own PDF that instead of just selling it on Amazon for $20, I can give it away if I want and say, because I didn't go. It's one thing a lot of people forget when they get involved with Kindle is you can accidentally, if you don't uncheck the right boxes, give up all of your distribution rights on your own outside of Kindle and Amazon where you can't sell your PDF or you can't give away your PDF. So you really need to watch what you're doing if you're self-publishing out there on Amazon to get it right so that you still have access to your content availability and give it away wherever you want. So.
And you're right. And I mean, I'm writing another one right now, about, because now everything I do is different from what I did when we started that whole concept. But I get in these books. The only reason I'm in this guy's books here is because this makes me a #1 best-selling author.
Exactly.
I don't care about being a #1 best-selling author because I'm in this guy's elite program. All right. I've worked his events for the past 6 years. All right. I'm also, I have an award for Blogger of the Year. I can say I'm an award-winning blogger. All right. I've been on several top things for blogs. Does that make me fancy, rich? No. All right. Those are just titles that help me get indoors. Yeah.
They're little hooks. They're hooks. People see that
nowadays.
Stuff
you want to do keynote speaking at events. If you don't have a book, they won't take you.
Exactly.
It's one of the reasons I'm not getting keynote spots right now is because I don't have a current book published. But my trade.
I'm doing mine.
This is my trick now with booking myself as a speaker. is I host a conference which twice a year, 2 featured speakers, 4 guest speakers.
Okay.
All right. You can apply to be the 4 guest speakers, but if you don't have a spot to trade me, you're going to pay to speak on my stage.
Sure.
2 featured speakers, you have to have an event to get those spots. No ands, no ifs, no buts. People come up to me all the time. Well, Tim, I can do a great keynote. And I'm like, great. Do you host an event that I can speak at? No. Sorry, that's not for you.
Can I ask a question here? Like,
Sure.
what?
Your turn, Mike. Speak.
What's the end game here? Like, if you aspire to be a coach or a speaker, whatever it is, or something along those lines, a public personality, we can even say celebrity. What's the end game here? Does your life revolve at creating speeches, speaking? What is the end game? I've always wondered that. Is that a sensible question or not?
10 for me?
Sensible. Yeah,
for me
exactly.
to create 10,000 content creators making $10,000 a month with 10,000 subscribers. That's my end game. All I do is to try to get to that.
I think some people, just to interject real quick, I think some people are in it to help others. I think it's not so much about their own benefit, because maybe they already have benefited from what they've done and they have everything they want, but they're still out there pushing what content they have or creating new content to let others see how they did it and actually show. There are others that ride that rail of, did they really do it that way, or are they just telling you they did it that way and they're trying to psych you to get your money? That's a different story. But I think a lot of people like Tim, yourself, and others that I know, they just preach what they taught and learn, or what they learned, and teach it to others so that they can do the same. Go ahead, Mike.
Here's where I was going with that question. Is essentially you're creating your own demand. You're creating demand for Tim. You're creating demand for Leland. So you're at the mercy of how skilled are you at creating that demand. Now, I look at that through the perspective of my 6 or 7 years. Day one, we said we need a widget. We have to have a widget. Can't survive by creating our own demand and not having a widget. So let's find a widget. And I truly believe in that. You need to have your business anchored around selling a widget. Otherwise, when that demand for you dries up, or there is no demand because the economy took a shit, or whatever it may be, is like you need to be able to fall back on a widget. Make sense or no?
Yes, it does, because I have a great business, and I believe, first of all, I create my own economy, but I have a real estate company. I create a real estate and an investment company first, and basically all of my profits go to buying more real estate, buying more investments in that company. That's what I do,
That's great.
and that's my end game. So I never have to get to the point where, I have no money, and I'm locked in there right now. I mean, I own 3 properties that that have me locked in there. I own parts of companies that will blow your mind, that you didn't know, that some of you use their products and have no idea that I own part of that company.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
And so I'll share with others. Don't make that freaking mistake.
Yeah.
Always have a widget.
Yeah, it always has something. What do you got? I mean, because we live on my wife's salary. Everything I make goes into future. And it's like, well, when are you going to cash in out of it? I'm not, until I have to. Until my wife comes home one day and say, "That's it. All right, I ain't working for that company no more."
I quit. Yeah, I hear you. And that's kind of like with me, it's always been, I've been a CAD technician most of my life. So a lot of the income I still strive to get in an occasion is based in civil engineering. It has nothing to do with live streaming, but live streaming is a passion of mine that I love to do. I don't really enjoy CAD operations as much as I used to. I always told myself when I was in my teens, I said I was going to get paid to draw. That's what I wanted to do. I was going to get paid to draw. And I did for 25 years. I was paid. I ran my own civil design company. I was literally servicing Fortune 500 companies like Ameritech and Sprint, OmniPoint, Spectrum, all kinds of cell tower construction that was going on back in the 90s. I built 200 CVS stores. I built 200 Builder Square stores. I used to design Kmart parking lots for a living. I mean, it was just that type of business that I was in. As I went out on my own for 15 years, I still made grand money doing it. But then I got really bored with it. And then when 2008 hit and the real estate market crashed, I crashed with it, because our company that I was working for prior to that, because I was losing business at home, I had to go become an employee literally for 6 years before that.
Wow.
And when I did, I put my reliance on someone else's business model. And that was a big mistake that I did. And in doing so, they just cut the business in half when they were bought out. And I was one of them because I didn't have seniority. So now I was back on my own in 2008, 2009, trying to struggle to make a living in civil, and I couldn't do it. So I had to find other avenues. I became a restoration tech. I became, I could go into it. I was a fireman for 3 or 4 years, all kinds of stuff that I was involved in. Till I found this. And then I said, you know what? I love this because I was in video, but that's my producer's license behind me from back in the 80s when I was working for the local cable company. Mm-hmm. So I got to go back to what I loved. And now I can continue to do that and teach others how to do it. And I get involved in the business end by selling products and services based on that niche. And it works out pretty well. So.
But Michael, do you have a funnel idea of how everything you're going to do with your business or no?
I've evolved. I sell insurance now, but I'm taking 7 years of learning everything we've talked about mm-hmm. and applying it to one niche, one thing, one product, one widget, and all in. Yeah. No plan B.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't have a plan B either, but it's my plan B's happen when oh my gosh, it's raining again. My plan B's happen when shit happens in life. It's just that's my life is going. I built my real estate business in the 2009 down economy. I went out and bought real estate.
Right.
You know what I mean? You figure out a way.
I made the mistake of not anchoring. My wife's in another room going, why are you on a live stream when you should be making phone calls or working? But right. I jumped in because we were talking about the celebrity. Gary Vee is what got my interest.
Yeah, I love Gary Vee. I've actually bought some of his wine, but to me, I'm not impressed with the fact that I need Gary Vee to. I'm not a Gary Vee. Okay, I'm not a guru fan.
No, I'm not either.
He's inspirational.
Yeah. Oh, he's inspirational.
And I have 3 or 4 quotes I say from him all the time.
Yeah.
The social media and the internet is the gateway drug to one-on-one relationships. Say it all the time.
So yeah, it's great to have. Like my biggest quote that I do is a guy who isn't even in our world anymore. And I actually bought an informational product from him in 1987. And he made one thing that I still to this day teach. You want to be successful in life, you need 2 things. Number 1, a system. Number 2, discipline to follow the system.
Bam.
True.
All right. And that was made by a guy who now owns a winery.
Yeah.
All right. He was trying to sell real estate courses in the 1980s. I bought his real estate course in the 1980s. And I quote him when I met him in 2014, face to face. I'm like, oh my God, I've been following you since 1987. He has a winery and everything now. It's just like, but I quote you. And he goes, you do? I'm like, yeah. Do you realize that statement made my success?
That's perfect. That's the world I live in. System plus discipline.
Yeah, and that's like what I do is like I do a conference, and at the conference I teach everybody systems, and I'm always telling everybody there's no system out there that's like this is the golden system. You've got to follow the golden system. No, everybody's got a system. The problem is most people go jumping, looking from system to system rather than grabbing one and working with someone individually to actually have discipline to follow the system. Gary Vee teaches a ton of systems. You want to work with Gary Vee to implement his systems? He ain't cheap. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
I'm a little cheaper to work with than Gary Vee. Just saying.
Well,
Leland's probably a little cheaper to work with than working with
exactly.
Fox video company. Yeah.
But I don't want to be forever either. So we want to aspire to higher goals and make sure that we don't underestimate. Yeah, don't underestimate yourself. Your worth. It's not your time that people are paying for. It's your experience and expertise. And always remember that. It's not about how long or how much you want to charge based on the niche. It's about how much you're worth to the individual you're giving service to. So, gentlemen, I hate to cut you short, but I want to wrap this up. The time's going to be up here in about a minute and a half, and I just want to close up shop. I want to thank you so much for coming to the broadcast and giving me your insights today. And Tim, I'll be in touch. I want to get more involved in your blogging group. Obviously, sure. I'm in it, but I haven't really participated in it. So look forward to that. And Mike, you and I are going to be getting together. So once we get ready to announce, we'll do so and let people see what we're up to as well. So thanks, guys. I'm going to bump you out so I can switch. Well, you could probably stay, but I'm going to go up to the big screen so I can make things happen out here at the end of Wake Up West Coast. It's lunchtime. This has been your host, Leland Best, coming to you from the Shiawassee River in Corunna, Michigan. I want to thank you all for coming. And I just want you to know, This is what happens when you collaborate. This is what happens when you learn to stop the hate. This is when you get together with individuals out in social media, learn from them, experience what they've experienced, get to know them as individuals and personalities, and stop getting out there to post all this garbage just because you don't agree with someone else's opinion. Once more, we're out of here. We'll see you in the next broadcast. Have a great week. Get a hold of me if you want to learn more about live streaming, or visit bcblive.com. We'll catch you next time. Take it easy.